Hey guys, welcome back. This is a bit of a different video. I went from wrenching on my motorcycle to now working on my truck. Yes, so in this video I'm going to replace the CV axles for the both passenger and driver side of my 2011 Tacoma. So why replace the CV boot or CV axle? Well, you know, I don't know how long it's been broken. One of the inner boots is cracked. Well, not cracked, it's completely torn. And then the other one is like leaking. So I'm assuming both of them are broken. I drove 7 hours all the way home from my friend's house. That's where I bought this from. All the way home, 7 hours on a broken CV boot, which is not good. I don't know how long it was broken before. It didn't look like it was addressed. So, and there's grease. The grease inside is everywhere. So I'm surprised that it's still working. Now I'm replacing the whole axle because I don't know if the axles on the truck right now are factory OEM Toyota ones. One of them looks different than the other one, so I don't know, it might be aftermarket. Now, if you have the OEM axles still on your truck and your boots are torn or broken, I will strongly recommend that you just reboot them. Toyota sells a rebooting kit, and you can probably take it off or take it to a shop and then have it rebooted to keep that OEM axle, because that's going to be better than anything aftermarket other than some that I will go into in a little bit. Now, why get the OEM one? I know there's a lot of cheaper options out there. O'Reilly sells some, you know, there's some on Rock Auto or something, whatever that site's called. There's a bunch of cheap ones. You can get one for like $50 or the heavy duty ones for $80. Well, the reason we want the Toyota OEM one is most important, the quality, right? You're not gonna beat OEM quality. Now, again, if you have the factory one, just reboot it. It's gonna be so much worth it than buying a cheap $70, $80 one and then have it break, you know, a month later. So just for the peace of mind and the durability and quality, that's why we go for the Toyota OEM one. Now, there's also other options. You can get a remanufactured one from Toyota or your local dealer, but that's discontinued. It's the price was around $175 plus the core charge. However, there are so few dealers that have it, I just deem it not an option. So there's another option is remanufactured OEM axles from CV Axles. Those are quite expensive as well. Might as well get a brand new OEM one. I mean, there are cheaper options on the CV one. So if you don't want to get a brand new one, CV Axles, the reman ones, well, they're all reman ones, that's your best option. Now, if you have the money and want the best quality possible, go for an RCV axle. Those are, I think, $2,000 to $3,000 each. So if money's not an issue for you, go for those ones. But most importantly, stay away from the cheap aftermarket ones because they will break on you. Now, for pricing and availability of the OEM one, the MSRP is $469.34. Here is the part number for the brand new one. And then on the bottom here is the part number for the remanufactured OEM one. Now, if you can, you know, if you want to try your luck, maybe you can get lucky. Ask around the dealers around you. Maybe they will have a reman option available for you. Again, that's going to be around under $200 per axle. Now, I did some research by calling about 12 to 13 dealerships, Toyota dealerships, namely, around me. And here's a chart of all the prices they were charging, ranging from MSRP, which was $469.34, all the way to $606. Now, this is why, you know, it's important to shop around, because some dealers will price gouge and charge you so much more. So do that if you need to. But here's a very, very cool tip. Look up the part number on the Toyota Parts Finder website. Now, there's usually a discount on the online pricing at those same dealers around you. So look around. What I did was I plugged the part in onto the website, and then I just opened every single dealer around me, every single one I called, and then I checked the pricing. So what I ended up paying was $327.32 for each axle, and that was the same dealer that quoted $469, which is the MSRP. Called them, quoted the MSRP, ordered it online, picked it up 35 minutes later, and yeah, got a nice 30% discount. Here are the parts, by the way. Here you can see the part number 43430-04071. Can't really see that on video, but as you can see, brand spanking new. And sometimes Toyota put them in different length boxes, so don't be alarmed. I had to open this at the parts department over there just to check, but sometimes they use a longer box. Alright, so here's a little demonstration of this M12 impact wrench taking off lug nuts, because somebody did not believe that this is capable of taking out the lug nuts. Here we go. One, two, 3, 4, 5, 6. Still full charge. Anyway, I'm going to take off the wheel now. Alright, so now that the wheel is off, what we want to do next is to take a flathead screwdriver, chip around this dust cap, and take off this dust cap. You don't want to smash it too hard. Here we go. You can turn it a little bit. Grab a thicker one. Pry it off. Boom. There's our dust cover. You can clean this and set this aside. Next, we want to bend this cotter pin. Bend it straight and remove it. Take out this cotter pin, maybe clean it and retain it for reinstallation. Next step is just to remove this adjusting nut right here, or lock, whatever you want to call this. Also retain this for reinstallation. Now is the hard part. We gotta loosen this axle nut. For this, we will need a 35mm socket. Here we go. Hopefully my impact wrench is capable. You know, might help if you maybe put a screwdriver in here so it does not rotate. Cool. So, and that only took off 1 bar. Can you see this? 1 bar. Look at this thing. Well, this thing's rated for 250 foot-pounds, so I am not surprised that it worked, but still a little shocked that it works. Okay, so next up we're going to remove this stabilizer joint, whatever this is called. First we have to remove the cotter pin, and then we will remove this bolt with a 19mm socket. Ah, this stupid pin. It's so dirty. Here we go. There it is. It's a little bent, so I'm gonna take a little hammer and bang it back. Okay, now it's a 19mm socket. Here we go. Ooh, that's real dirty. So our next step is to separate this tie rod. For this we will use this tie rod separator. We shall slide this teeth underneath here and tighten the bolt on top of the tie rod bolt. Try to center this so I don't damage anything. Oop. There we go. That was kind of loud. But here is our tie rod. Now that our tie rod is removed, now we are going to remove this stabilizer link. For this, we will need a 6mm hex key, which goes in here. And also you would need a 17, I just realized that sockets don't work, 17mm wrench for this, because if you just loosen this whole thing is gonna spin. So what you need to do is you need to take this Allen key, hold it in place, and then take your wrench and loosen that. This works. Brute force always works. Cool. That's off now. Awesome. All right. Cool. Remove it like so and place it to the side. Next up is this one. This is the ABS sensor, ABS and what else? Speed sensor bracket. You take this out with a 12mm wrench, or sorry, not wrench, 12mm socket. All right, cool. So now that tie rod's removed, well, this is stabilizer rod, bar, link, and link, and then our tie rod is removed. Next, we are going to go underneath and remove, where is it? This bolt and this bolt with a 19mm socket. These two right here. This is your knuckle bolts. Alright, so I did a little oopsie yesterday while disassembling the two knuckle bolts. As you can see here, this one is a little okay. However, the one in the back is completely rounded. So yeah, don't use a 12-point socket on a really stubborn bolt because you will round it. So what I did was I ran to Home Depot last night and got some penetrating oil, and it's been and I soaked it overnight. Since the bolt was rounded, I needed new bolts. So here are 4 bolts from Toyota. They costed me a whopping $25.76. I know I can get these at Home Depot, but the hardware drawers at my local Home Depot is beyond disorganized. Can't find anything, so gonna have to live with some expensive bolts. I also got this, which is a bolt extractor set. Overnight shipping from Amazon. Thank you, Jeff Bezos. Alright, so what you want to do is you want to take the size, which is 19mm, which is the largest size this bolt extractor set has. Take this and take a little mallet or hammer it onto the bolt, the rounded one, and take it out with your Allen wrench. What I did was ratchet, a rod, extension, more leverage, and I was able to get it out, and I worked up a sweat as well. Now, a little tip, if your thing is stuck like mine, I would put a little wood in between the bottom knuckle and your lower control arm right here. As you can see, mine kind of got squished a little bit. I mean, you can put your stabilizer arm, what is this called, your tie rod back in. However, you know, I didn't want to, so I just put a little piece of wood in here, and then I rotated this way, because when you loosen that bolt by hand, you're gonna have to apply force inward, which will, you know, kind of damage this metal a little bit. So put something in between while you're doing that. So here's the aftermath of this bolt. So you can see the sides are all damaged from the bolt extractor. This is what a new one should look like. And yeah, so be careful. Anyway, I'm gonna remove the other one now. Oh geez, that was a lot of work. loosen this the rest of the way. Here we go. There's the second bolt. Ta-da! So now that the knuckle bolts are out, what I'm going to do now is use a ratchet strap. Now you can use like a little bungee cord or whatever. And I'm just going to secure this onto something. Gotta get this axle out a little more. Now if you're reusing this axle, then I would be a little careful banging it because you don't want to strip the threads. One thing you can do is you can take the axle nut, you know, thread it on by hand just a little bit and hit the nut instead of the axle itself to preserve the threads. However, since I will be replacing this whole axle, I don't need to be that careful. Alright, so one thing I forgot to mention is that you should probably get a drain pan and place it under your front differential, because once you remove that inner CV boot or the CV, your differential, your gear oil is going to come out and you don't want to make a mess. So now would be a good time after you remove the knuckle bolts and right before you disassemble, take out the CV axle, put a drain pan under there so you don't make a mess. So what you want to do is you want to pull this up and then you can just lift it up and then pop the CV axle out by hand. That was easy. And now you want to swing this over to the right and kind of just set it there, out of the way. Awesome, cool. Now that we removed the outer CV, time to remove the inner CV. So for this, you would probably need to get under your car, and there are some notches. I don't know if you can tell, but like those, if you don't have one, you can just spin it around and you'll see a bunch of them. What you want to do is you want to take a little flathead screwdriver and a hammer and just hammer it out like that. Now it's stuck. Alright. I tore the whole boot off instead of the case. I mean, which is alright. I don't need the case. I can rotate this. Oop, there's your CV axle. At least part of it. Careful not to get stuff all over the place. Alright, so about 3-4 hours later, I finally got this out. See, the culprit was this little ring right here on the inside, this C-ring. It rotates and it stops it from coming out. So I even went ahead and bought a pry bar. So what ended up working was just a simple vice grip. So what I did was I took the inner boot off of my CV axle because it fell out, leaving this thing inside the differential. So what I did was, all credit goes to this YouTube video, by the way. Thank you. Let's see if I can get this off. Anyway, it's just a vice grip at the end of this. So you're essentially making a slide hammer. And what I did was that I made a little clearing right here and it just pulled it out. I'm so relieved. You can see this is all bent. So yeah, okay, so now that's out. Next step is to install the new one. Day 3. Finally got the inner axle out last night. Now it's time to put in the new axle. New axle right here. Let's unbox it. Cool, pre-greased and everything. This is very heavy. This is a very heavy thing. Now here's a little trick. The O-ring. Make sure the opening is facing the 12 o'clock position when you insert it, as that will help a lot. So let's try. That doesn't work. All right, so after 2 hours of trying to get this inner axle into the differential, what I found really helps is that once you align the teeth, you pick this up and then you just hammer it in like that. Here we go. Now my inner CV is in. Next, we can proceed to the reinstallation. Oh my goodness, that took way longer than it should have. But I learned something new. Next step is to slide this knuckle. Well, I should undo the thread. Slide this knuckle and install. So you want to go up and over and install your axle into the knuckle right here. Maybe this is a two-person job. Okay, my microphone just got attached to my brakes. But, all right, cool. Now it's time to put the two knuckle bolts on. You want to apply some blue Loctite onto them. I'm sure there's a better way of applying Loctite. And then just hand threaten them. For now. Next, we're going to install our tie rod, which I have tied it to the sway bar. Once your tie rod is out there on it, you want to torque it to 67 foot-pounds. All right, 67 foot-pounds. And don't forget the cotter pin. All right, next up is to reinstall the ABS and speed sensor bracket. This bolt should be torqued to 73 inch-pounds. However, I'm just gonna hand tighten it because I don't have a small enough torque wrench, so I'm just going to hand tighten this. All right, that's hand tightened. Now we want to install our stabilizer end link, which is pretty simple. Now it's kind of tricky to install this because you need to hold this in place. Now this should be torqued to 52 foot-pounds. There we go, 52 foot-pounds. Awesome. Now it's time for the final stretch. Time to put on the axle nut. Now this will need to be torqued to 175 foot-pounds. So here's a problem. This thing needs 175 foot-pounds of torque. However, my torque wrench only goes up to 150. So I'm gonna have to improvise a little bit. So here's my solution. Ratchet on a long tube. So since torque is just distance multiplied by force, we know that this nut needs 175 foot-pounds, and we know the distance we're applying this force, which is 2 feet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide the torque needed by the distance, which is 175 divided by 2, which gives 87.5 pounds. So that's how much force I would need to apply at 2 feet to achieve 175 foot-pounds. And for this, we will need this surprisingly cheap and accurate luggage scale. So what I'm going to do is basically, let me show you, basically like this, right? This is the 2 feet mark, and I'm going to apply that force at the 2 feet mark, and the force I'm looking for is going to be 87.5 foot-pounds, or 87.5 pounds because I'm doing it at 2 feet. All right. Cool. There's my little makeshift torque wrench. Now all we need to do is to install the cotter pin. Nope, we gotta install this locking nut first. All right, cotter pin's installed. All right, now install the clean dust cover. Just gonna use the rubber mallet. All right, so I'm going to torque the wheels when they're on the ground. That seems to be easier because the wheels doesn't rotate. But this is the end of day 3. I finally figured out how to do this on the driver's side. So tomorrow I'm going to do this on the passenger side, and it most definitely, well, gosh, I hope it's not going to take 3 more days. So here's a little montage of that. Yay! So that was the passenger side. That only took about 2 hours. You may ask, why didn't I go to a mechanic and have them do it? Well, I'm stubborn. They quoted me $400 and I've already spent double that on tools and stuff. Well, actually very close to it. I spent $583 on tools, and total in parts was $731.13. So right now I'm $1,314.51 into this repair, and took me 4 days in total. But now I have more problems. As you can hear from the video, the clicking noise still remains. And now I have my brakes are rubbing as well, so I gotta fix that. I gotta take the wheels off again and assess the issue. And I still have to find the culprit of the clicking sound. It's mainly coming from the passenger side. You know, with new CV axles in, I do not think is a CV issue. So I don't know what it could possibly be. So, you know, if you have any ideas, any suggestions, or any, you know, insight to what my issue would be, please leave a comment in the comment section below. Right now I'm a little burnt out. I don't want to work on this for another week. I don't want to touch it. So that's the end of this video. Hopefully in the next video I will come up with a solution and, you know, get this all sorted out. But that's about it. Hope this video was helpful. Yeah, see you guys next time.